There is one truth that cannot be borrowed, one strength that cannot be given. It must rise from within, and that is belief, belief in yourself. In this life, you will meet countless voices. Some will support you, many will doubt you. But the most dangerous voice is not out there. It is the one inside your own mind, whispering that you are not enough. Today, we do not speak to impress. We speak to awaken. Because if you do not believe in yourself, no discipline, no opportunity, no path will carry you far. Self-belief is not arrogance, it is alignment with your inner truth. This is the beginning of all mastery, not only in martial arts, but in every discipline, every path of life. When you believe in yourself, it does not mean you place yourself above others. It does not mean you are blind to your flaws or deaf to advice. It means you have chosen to walk in harmony with the voice inside that whispers, "You are capable." This is not the voice of ego. It is the voice of clarity. The one that knows you have been through storms and yet still rise, that you have failed before and still try again, that you have questions, fears, and doubts, but you walk forward regardless. Many confuse belief in the self with pride, but they are not the same. Arrogance is loud. It demands recognition. It insists on being right. But true self-belief is quiet. It does not need to prove. It is a fire that burns steadily within, not a flame that seeks to consume others. It does not push others down to rise. It simply stands like the mountain, like the tree, like the monk in stillness. When you are aligned with your inner truth, you are not performing for the world. You are not chasing approval, applause, or attention. You act because the action is right. You speak because the words are needed. You pursue your goal not because others see it as worthy, but because your soul does. To believe in yourself is to live without masks. It is to let go of the image others have created for you, or the one you have created to survive. It is to return to your natural state, simple, powerful, and present. A person who believes in themselves has already won half the battle before it begins. Why? Because they do not spend energy fighting with themselves. They are not torn between fear and action. They do not hesitate when the moment calls. They do not waste time wondering if they are good enough. They commit to becoming good enough through practice, through patience, through discipline. Belief is not born in comfort. It is not found in safety. It is forged in trial, in long nights and uncertain days, in silence, in solitude, in sweat. It grows each time you fall and choose to rise, each time you want to quit but keep going, each time the world says you can't and you say, "I will try." It grows not through perfection, but through presence. When you give yourself fully to the process, belief becomes your natural companion. This is the alignment with inner truth. When your thoughts, your words, your actions, they all point in the same direction. When you no longer betray your own spirit by pretending to be small, when you no longer dim your light to make others comfortable, when you no longer wait for someone to give you permission to be strong, to speak up, to lead, to dream. This alignment creates peace within, and that peace becomes your strength. You must train your mind to return to this place again and again, because the world will pull you away. It will distract you with noise, comparisons, judgments. It will try to convince you that you are not ready, not worthy, not enough. And in those moments you must pause, breathe. Remember, you are not here to meet someone else's definition of success. You are here to live fully. And that begins with belief. When a tree grows, it does not ask the other trees how tall it should be. When a river flows, it does not question its direction. When the sun rises, it does not apologize for its light. Nature exists in its truth. So should you. To believe in yourself is to live as you were meant to, unshaken by doubt, untouched by false praise, unmoved by fear. This kind of belief cannot be borrowed. It cannot be given. It must be discovered within. Like the monk in training, you must sit with your thoughts, observe them, discipline them. Replace the noise with stillness, the fear with action, the doubt with intention. Each day you begin again. Each day you choose belief, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary, because the world outside reflects the world within. And when you believe in yourself, You do not need the world to carry you. You carry yourself. Your limitations are often just untrained thoughts. The boundaries you feel in your life, the walls you think you cannot cross, most of them do not exist in the world outside. They live in your own mind. The human being is born with potential beyond imagination, but this potential does not manifest automatically. It is hidden behind thoughts, habits, and beliefs that were shaped without awareness. And unless you bring attention to them, these untrained thoughts become the invisible prison you live in every day. When a student enters the path of training, the first obstacle is never the body, it is the mind. The belief that something is too hard, too far, too late. Before the body has reached its limit, the thoughts already whisper defeat. This is the difference between one who breaks through and one who gives up. The mind, when undisciplined, will protect you from discomfort. It will exaggerate pain, amplify doubt, and offer you excuses that sound reasonable. But reasonable is not the same as true, and comfortable is not the same as alive. Most people live with thoughts they never chose. They inherit them from their environment, from their childhood, from failures they never questioned, from people who never believed in themselves either. These thoughts say, "You're not smart enough. You always mess things up. This is just how life is." But none of these are facts. They are simply thoughts repeated so many times they have become familiar. And what is familiar begins to feel real even when it is false. The mind must be trained like the body. Repetition, awareness, correction, patience. You do not overcome these thoughts by force, but by discipline. You observe the thought. You do not believe it immediately. You test it. You ask, is this helping me or limiting me? Is this coming from fear or from growth? Just because a thought arises does not mean it is true. And if it is not serving your purpose, you must let it go. An untrained mind looks for problems. It finds reasons to stay where it is. It resists change. It fears failure. It doubts its own strength. A trained mind looks for solutions. It seeks progress. It learns from mistakes. It adapts. It trusts itself. This shift is not made in one moment. It is the result of daily practice. Just like a muscle, the mind gets stronger each time you challenge it, each time you stretch it, each time you catch it drifting into fear and gently bring it back to focus. When you experience struggle, the untrained thought says stop, but the trained thought says continue. When you face uncertainty, the untrained thought says I'm not ready, but the trained thought says I will grow into readiness. When you fall, the untrained thought says this is failure, but the trained thought says this is a step. You begin to realize that the pain is temporary, but the strength you build from facing it is permanent. No one becomes strong by avoiding effort. No one becomes wise by avoiding discomfort. Every time you act against the voice of limitation, you prove to yourself that it has no power. This is how you break the illusion. This is how you begin to live without fear. By taking action even when the thought says you can't. By showing up even when your mind is full of resistance. By replacing hesitation with movement, overthinking with breath, fear with presence. If you are trapped, it is not because of your potential. It is because of your patterns. But patterns can be broken, and thoughts can be retrained. You are not too late. You are not too weak. You are simply unpracticed. And this is something that can change. The moment you stop believing everything your mind tells you, you begin to take back your power. The moment you start creating new thoughts with purpose, the walls begin to fall. Every great transformation begins with one decision: to stop being loyal to your limitations, to stop letting your past define your future, to stop shrinking yourself to fit the stories in your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who can observe them, challenge them, change them, and this awareness is where freedom begins. It is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to the part of you that was never afraid, never broken, never small. It was just buried under layers of noise that were never yours to begin with. Training the mind is the most important journey you will ever take, because the mind is where your entire life is filtered, interpreted, and experienced. And if you want to change your life, you must begin by changing the way you think, not by force, not by denial, but by presence, by practice, by repetition, by choosing thoughts that build you, challenge you, stretch you. Thoughts that align with your higher self, not your wounded self. Thoughts that remind you, again and again, that what you truly are has no limits, only untrained beliefs. Consistency in effort builds confidence in silence. It is not the loud declarations or the public victories that shape your self-belief, but the quiet, unseen repetitions of discipline when no one is watching. Confidence is not something you can borrow from others or fake through words. True confidence is earned, and it is built through the effort you put in every single day, especially on the days when you feel no progress, when results are invisible, when motivation fades and only commitment remains. In training, the student is taught not to chase the outcome, but to fall in love with the process. Each movement, each breath, each repetition, this is the foundation. Over time, these small acts of effort begin to shape the body, refine the skill, sharpen the mind. But something else is being built in the background: confidence, quiet, steady, unshakable, the kind of confidence that doesn't need to be spoken because it lives in the way you carry yourself, in the way you respond to pressure, in the way you keep going. People often believe confidence is a gift, something you are either born with or not, but this is not true. Confidence is not inherited, it is earned. It comes from the proof you give to yourself, each time you keep a promise to yourself. Each time you finish what you start, each time you choose effort over excuse, slowly, something inside begins to shift. The voice that once said "I can't" becomes quieter. The doubt that once dominated your thoughts starts to lose its grip. Because now you have evidence, you have consistency. This is why rituals matter. This is why daily habits matter. They are not just routines, they are acts of training. Every time you choose to practice instead of procrastinate, every time you wake up early when you feel tired, every time you return to the work even after failing, you are not just moving forward in the task. You are strengthening your foundation. You are telling your mind, "I can trust myself," and that trust becomes confidence. There is a kind of power that grows in silence, not in the moment of applause, but in the hours of preparation. Not when you feel strong, but when you feel weak and choose to act anyway. This kind of effort doesn't get attention, but it creates results. It doesn't bring instant gratification, but it shapes character. And character is what remains when everything else is taken away. When others stop, you continue. When others wait for motivation, you rely on discipline. When others need results to feel proud, you feel proud because you showed up. This is the way of the warrior, the path of the disciple, the mindset of one who is not chasing approval but chasing growth. Confidence built on surface achievements will crumble under pressure, but confidence built on consistent effort becomes immovable. It is rooted not in what you have done once, but in what you continue to do. It is easy to believe in yourself when everything is going well, but real confidence is revealed when nothing is certain, when you are not sure, but you begin, when you feel fear, but you act, when the outcome is unknown, but your effort remains. This is what makes you resilient. This is what makes you trustworthy to yourself. If you want to feel confident, begin by doing the things that build it. Set a schedule and keep it. Choose one habit and repeat it until it becomes part of you. Do the work even when the results are not immediate, especially then, because that is when most people quit. That is when doubt wins. But if you persist, your consistency will become your quiet teacher. It will teach you that effort matters more than outcome, that showing up is stronger than perfection, that progress lives in the process. Even on days of failure, your effort counts. Even on days of frustration, your consistency builds. Even when no one sees your struggle, your spirit grows stronger. and slowly, over time, the same actions that once felt difficult become effortless. The same discipline that once required force becomes natural, and the confidence that once felt out of reach becomes a steady flame inside you. This kind of confidence is not shaken by rejection. It is not destroyed by failure. It is not dependent on the opinions of others, because it was not built for them. It was built in your silence, in your practice, in your persistence. Confidence like this does not need to announce itself. It is quiet, but it speaks through your presence, through the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you stand even when the world pushes. You earn this by doing what others avoid, by choosing repetition over distraction, by being consistent in the small things. This is where greatness begins, not in one massive action, but in the invisible acts of discipline repeated daily. The outside world may not see it, may not understand it, may not reward it immediately, but you will feel it, and that feeling is the beginning of unshakable self-belief. Belief must be tested to be transformed into inner strength. It is easy to say, "I believe in myself," when life flows smoothly, when there are no obstacles, when everything aligns with your expectations. But belief that has never faced pressure is like a blade that has never touched the fire. Untested, unproven, fragile. Real strength does not come from words or intentions. It comes from experience, from adversity, from choosing to stay grounded in your belief even when everything around you tries to shake it. When the storms of life arrive, many people abandon their belief. They question their path, they doubt their decisions, they begin to listen more to fear than to purpose. But this is the moment belief is called upon, not in the comfort, but in the chaos. The purpose of belief is not to decorate your thoughts, but to anchor you when the waves rise. Just like a warrior trains not for the peaceful days, but for the battle, your belief is built to carry you through resistance, not around it. You do not know how deeply you believe in yourself until life challenges you, until you fail and still continue, until you fall and choose to rise, until you are misunderstood, rejected, or doubted, and yet remain loyal to your path. These moments are not punishments, they are tests. They do not break you, they reveal you, and each time you respond with courage, your belief becomes stronger. It changes from something you tell yourself into something you embody. Every person who has achieved anything meaningful has gone through this fire. There were times they felt lost, uncertain, or even hopeless, but instead of giving up, they endured, they adjusted, they reflected, they returned to the work with even more clarity. This process transforms belief into resilience, into a force that is not dependent on results, but on your willingness to stay in motion. Testing your belief does not mean forcing your way through everything. It means learning, adapting, being honest about your weaknesses, but not defeated by them. It means being willing to be a student of difficulty, to let failure shape you without defining you. You begin to understand that obstacles are not signs that you are not enough. They are invitations to become more. In the dojo, the student repeats the same form thousands of times, not because they don't know it, but because each repetition reveals something new. The body becomes stronger, the breath becomes deeper, the movement becomes effortless. In the same way, every challenge you face is a repetition for the spirit. Each trial refines your belief, sharpens your mind, expands your threshold. This is why belief is not a one-time decision. It is a path, a practice, a choice you make every day, especially when nothing seems certain. The strength you admire in others was not given. It was earned through endurance, and now it is your turn to earn yours. So now we return to the beginning, with deeper eyes and a steadier breath. What does it mean to believe in yourself? It means to see beyond fear, to speak louder than doubt, and to stand taller than your past. It means to train your mind, sharpen your focus, and walk the silent path of discipline when no one is watching. You do not need to be fearless to begin. You need only to begin despite the fear. Each step forward, each repetition, each choice to stay aligned with your truth. This is the practice. Belief is not something you wait for. It is something you build through action, through resilience, through refusing to quit on yourself. You will be tested, you will fall, but each time you rise again, you rise stronger. The mind will challenge you, the world will distract you, but your task is simple. Return to the breath, return to the purpose, return to the quiet voice inside that says, keep going. Because in the end, it is not the noise outside that defines your path, it is the strength within. Believe in yourself, not because it guarantees ease, but because it is the only way to walk your path fully awake, fully alive, and fully free.